Trump today just threatened to have the U.S. military open fire on civilians in Portland, Oregon. Very strange story, guys. Trump today said he's going to send the U.S. military to Portland and order them to use full force against civilians in order to protect ICE immigration facilities that are not under threat in Portland. There's no problem with ICE in Portland. In fact, Trump just last month, or just a couple weeks ago, said he wasn't going to send troops to Portland because there was no need to. Everything's fine in Portland. Well, today it's not fine in Portland. For whatever reason, Trump is sending troops, he claims. Again, that would be illegal under U.S. law, but that doesn't seem to matter anymore. And he's ordering them to use full force, which sounds like he means to shoot people, use their weapons. U.S. military, again, illegal. Now, this comes at the time that Trump is having all the generals come to Washington this week. Very unusual move, ordering them to get in line or get out, according to one of the papers. Is this why? Because he's planning on using U.S. troops to open fire against civilians. And if the generals don't agree, of course, the troops aren't going to do it. This is very scary times, guy. Pay attention.
Breaking news, as there has been an unprecedented and dangerous announcement by President Trump on his Truth Social just moments ago. At the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to our war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I am also authorizing full force if necessary. I just want to remind everyone that under Trump's first term in office, he had asked his Secretary of Defense if troops could just shoot protesters in the legs. And they said no, absolutely not. Now he has a Secretary of War, Defense, whatever you want to call it, that seems to kind of be okay with that. He was even asked about this during his confirmation hearing and would not stand up against that. So he would likely do something like that if asked by the president. And that's why the end of that post is so disturbing. Full force if necessary. You know what that means. Guys, everyone needs to know about this. We could be barreling down a path right now where Trump turns our military against its citizens. Everyone in Portland needs to know about this. Everyone there, stay safe, be careful. This is dangerous. This is one of the most dangerous posts I've ever seen from this president. He is describing a situation that doesn't exist and authorizing force that is unnecessary. Let me know if you agree. Let people know about this. Spread the word. Comment, like, share, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
Donald Trump just sent troops to Portland, Oregon, and he said, "You have my authorization to use full force." Tell me how this is not a military occupation. Tell me how this is not authoritarianism. He literally declared Antifa, which is not a gang, it's not a group of people. It's just a movement that stands for anti-fascism, terrorists. And now he's sending the military to Portland, Oregon, USA, and giving them authorization for full force. Who knows what that even means? That's against the Constitution. He has to sign an order saying that. I haven't seen any signed orders. Sorry, I was working out. This is... Guys, he's indicting James Comey. His last U.S. Attorney General said there's nothing to indict James Comey on. There's no evidence. And he just forced his current U.S. Attorney General to indict James Comey. It's not about James Comey either. It's about me. It's about you. It's about all of us. He's showing that he can threaten us with the military. And on top of that, he's showing that he can put anyone in jail or in front of a judge that he wants. Just because they dissent him. They disagree with him. I think that if we can have a free and fair election in the 2026 election, and the right people get into Congress, wink, wink, that we're going to be able to really flip the script here. I think that we're going to comb through every email, every text message that ever went through a White House server. And we're going to lock every one of these guys up. Every one of them who committed a crime. There's not going to be a I followed orders defense. It's not going to happen. We're going through everything. There's going to be an active investigation in 2027 when we're in Congress. That's it. If we can have a fair and free election, come 2026, we'll fix all this. My name's Kyle, and I'm running for Congress in the 2nd District of Connecticut. I believe in freedom. I believe in justice. and I don't believe in fascism or authoritarianism. If you like any of that, please follow along. Please go to my website, kylegauk.com. You can donate there, you can sign up to volunteer, or you can sign up for our free weekly newsletter. You can even reach out to me and be like, hey dude, what's up? Just want to chat. This is my opinion. And I'll respond. All the messages from the website go directly to my email. So feel free to reach out anytime. And as always, if you made it this far, thank you. I love you. And we'll definitely talk again soon.
This morning, the President of the United States announced via his social media pages that he was authorizing the newly named Department of War to use full force and kill American citizens that were protesting him and his regime in democratic cities. This is what he posted, just for reference. Specifically, citizens in the city of Portland. There have already been violent interactions between ICE and military members and citizens in LA, in Chicago, and now he is literally sicking the US military on citizens in Portland. This is every bit as serious and as bad as it sounds, and I really feel like we are actually underreacting to this. I want to also point out that he is deliberately referring to anyone who protests his regime as Antifa. And as we all know, they have tried to label Antifa as a terrorist organization. He is trying to villainize and therefore criminalize his opposition. This is as anti-democratic as it gets.
So if you're just tuning in, let me catch you up with what's all been going on. So there's this rapper named Ice Cube. You know Ice Cube, F the Police, NWA Ice Cube, also cult classic Friday. He's on some type of tour right now. One of those tour stops is Portland. Portland is home to Antifa. Ice Cube on his tour bus got the words Ice Cube written on it, right? Antifa sees that, they're like, go into a blind rage. It's like a bull seeing red. So they firebomb it, right? Destroy the bus. Trump gets wind of this by his homegirl, Kristi Noem. She's like, yo, you know your man's Ice Cube? Antifa violated. Trump is like, I know these dudes ain't testing my gangster. I know they not. I just designated them as a terrorist organization. And they try to do this to me on the world stage? Bet. He calls Pete Hegseth. He's like, yo, spin that block. And if any of those mofos feeling froggy, boil them. Now, Antifa, I'd appreciate nothing more but the content that's going to give the internet. But, hey, they ain't playing, okay? You guys are like the final bosses of the woke left, right? And it's really early in the administration, and he's looking to squish. He needs something. He needs to fry something big. Do not be the batter. Do not be the batter. That's all I got to say.
So Trump this morning authorized sending troops to Portland. And I don't know which troops he didn't say. He has just said he's sending troops to Portland. And he is authorizing full force, if necessary, to fight against Antifa. Like, what Antifa was doing to ICE in Portland that was so bad, that needs the help of the military, they're dangling donuts on fishing poles in front of the ICE agents. That's what they couldn't handle, was donuts being dangled in front of the ICE agents. They're just getting a little bit made fun of. And they couldn't handle that. And by the way, for the Republicans that watch me for some reason, Antifa just means anti-fascist. So if you don't like Hitler, that makes you anti-fascist. That should be the default position of everyone. And if you like Hitler, get the fuck out of here, because that's disgusting.
So now Pumpkin Spice Palpatine says they can allegedly possibly open fire on civilians in Portland. What? Apparently there's some confusion over at the Pentagon over that, Truth Social post I shared earlier, saying that they can use full force. whatever that means. And that could be a whole wide range of things, from law enforcement activities, which by the way is also not legal, to using live ammo and force upon American civilians. Now, I'm not saying that is exactly what's going to happen or that's what the order is. We do not have details on the order specifically as of 2:20 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Saturday, September 27th. Okay, that's when I'm recording this. I'm going to date and time stamp it so you know. Please keep an eye on this situation. We now need to watch Portland, which we knew was on the list. Let's be clear. Now, I'm about to head out the door. Clearly, I have somewhere to be, but if something crazy goes down, believe me, I will be posting an update for you, so please stay tuned.
So, Donald Trump woke up today and chose to be stupid once again. Apparently, Portland is in need of some freedom. Trump is now authorizing the military to enter Portland, Oregon, the war-torn streets of Portland, Oregon, to instill justice in this war-torn area. Look, Portland, it has its problems. It is not a war-torn city. He's also saying that the military has authorization for full force. Nobody really knows what that means yet. Probably nothing good if it were up to Trump. Now, what's likely going to happen? Pardon my voice. I'm a little under the weather. What is likely going to happen is he's going to get sued out the woozaw. Like he gets sued every single time that he does this. Now, does that mean that the military is not going to get sent to Portland? No, it still might happen, but he is absolutely going to face lawsuits just like he did when he did this in LA, just like he did when he did this in Washington, D.C. Now, Washington, D.C. was a little different because Washington, D.C. is under direct federal control. Portland, Oregon is not. And the Constitution says that you need the state's governor's approval to send the National Guard into that state, another National Guard. So what's going to happen? I'll keep you up to date as best I can when it comes to this. If you like personal finance, world economics, investing, breaking news, and politics, you're in the right place.
The National Guard is heading to Portland, Oregon after a massive spike in violent crime, especially aimed at federal officers, and after over 100 days of people protesting outside the ICE facility. For 100 days, people have been outside with loud noises, loud music, people protesting in front of this ICE facility. The people in this area, the neighbors, are fed up with it. The city officials are doing nothing to stop it. So the federal government is coming in, and President Trump has said enough is enough. We're sending in the National Guard. President Trump has told the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to provide all necessary troops to protect the war-ravaged Portland as this ICE facility has been under attack by Antifa and other groups. Trump is calling these people professional agitators and saying that these people are getting paid. J.D. Vance said, "It's time we as a government look after the American people. Stop looking after protesters. Stop protecting the protesters who are destroying cities all over America." President Trump is stepping in. He said, "We're done." He's sending in the National Guard to Portland, Oregon. Let me know your thoughts on this one.
So I'm here outside the ICE facility in Portland, Oregon, and as you can see behind me, there is another interfaith march against ICE. And this is a bunch of different groups of faith leaders here in Portland, including my synagogue, Shir Tikva. Woo-woo, that's exciting. And yeah, there is, I just got done with my head count. There's roughly 300 people out here. They're all circling the block. As you can see, they're all circling the block in a silent march against ICE. Look at all of those people. And all of them here, people of faith, more coming down this way. People of faith against ICE and for justice in this country. Hell yeah. Really love to see it. Love to see everybody come out. Would love to see more faith members come out, members of the faith community come out, you know. And I don't know what to say. This is amazing. This is a wonderful thing to see that is happening right here in Portland right now. So everybody, get your butts down here to support them. And as always, chinga la migra.
So if you're just tuning in, let me catch you up with what's all been going on. So there's this rapper named Ice Cube. You know Ice Cube, F the Police, NWA Ice Cube, also cult classic Friday. He's on some type of tour right now. One of those tour stops is Portland. Portland is home to Antifa. Ice Cube on his tour bus got the words Ice Cube written on it, right? Antifa sees that, they're like, go into a blind rage. It's like a bull seeing red. So they firebomb it, right? Destroy the bus. Trump gets wind of this by his homegirl, Kristi Noem. She's like, yo, you know your man's Ice Cube? Antifa violated. Trump is like, I know these dudes ain't testing my gangster. I know they not. I just designated them as a terrorist organization. And they try to do this to me on the world stage?
Yep.
So Trump has ordered U.S. troops into Portland, Oregon, and he says they can use full force. I know that you know presidents can't use the military as police in U.S. cities. It's banned under something called the Posse Comitatus Act. The only loophole is the Insurrection Act, which can only be invoked if there's a true insurrection or if local authorities can't keep order. Oregon's own leaders are saying the exact opposite. The governor of Oregon, Tina Kotek, flat out said, Portland is doing just fine. Our city is a far cry from the war-ravaged community that he has posted about on social media. And then she also added, there is no national security threat in Portland. Portland's mayor, Keith Wilson, was even clearer. He said the number of necessary troops is 0 in Portland and in any other American city. And then he also added, imagine if the federal government sent hundreds of engineers, teachers, or outreach workers instead of a short, expensive, and fruitless show of force. So when Trump claims that Portland needs the military, he's ignoring the very people running the state. And that matters because if there's no insurrection, his legal authority there is shaky and shady. The bottom line is abuse of power. The state leaders are saying there's no emergency, no justification, and no request for these troops. If he goes through with this, it's not just wasteful, it could be illegal. Portland, stay vigilant, stay safe, but most importantly, stay peaceful. The calmer the city stays, the more it exposes this for what it is, a political stunt that wastes our tax dollars.
Donald Trump is authorizing troops to kill people. That's what this means in plain language. The United States government is sending troops into Portland with the directive to use full force if necessary. In addition to that, they're also referring to the protesters here in Portland outside of the ICE facility and in other parts throughout the city as domestic terrorists. The direct quote from Trump is, "I am also authorizing full force if necessary." The historical precedent for authorizing full force means that instead of using minimal or restrained force, the troops are cleared to use their full range of weapons and tactics, which can include airstrikes, artillery, heavy weapons, or combined arms. And a lot of people, with regards to this story, are taking the same thing from this. Go ahead and read this here. And for anyone who thinks, there's no way that the troops are going to kill U.S. citizens, it might be time to brush up on your history with the Kent State Massacre.
President Trump is sending U.S. troops to Portland, Oregon, the city that I love, the city that I live in, because he says it's a war zone. He said it's like living in hell. So I just want to show you what it's like in Portland right now. Let's go on a little tour. Wait, what is that? What's that sound in the background? Is that war? Nah, it's just a dude shredding for a goose. Let's take a look downtown at the Portland Saturday Market, where all the hippies come to sell their hippie stuff. And the hippies, yeah, this is true. They're taking over. They're in every single city park that we have. They're out of control. Over here, we have the world famous Voodoo Donuts. The lines are always crazy unless you come at like 3 in the morning. My personal favorite is the ODB, which is a donut pretty much covered in candy bars. I know for a fact you would love that one. All right, let's keep walking downtown. It's Saturday, so, you know, it's kind of chill. Oh, is that crime? Pretend you didn't see that. People running. Obviously, either running from the crime or straight to a riot. Down here next to this beautiful park, right past all of the cyclists, is the Justice Center. You no doubt saw a ton of videos from protests from a few years ago where it was just, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, there was a lot going on, but like I said, it's Saturday, so, you know, the rioters probably went home and watched cartoons. All right, let's go up to the park because, as we know, sound carries, and like all the horrible violence is just gonna be real noticeable up here. You just gotta listen past all the happy children. But, you know, I don't want to be accused of cherry picking, so let's go to where the real stuff is happening. Let's go to the ICE facility. And there it is, the war zone outside of the ICE facility in downtown Portland. And honestly, like, I don't want to get any closer to film because the last time, the person in the chicken suit would not stop giving me free cookies. So as you can see, Mr. President, like, things are pretty good here in Portland. So I guess I just don't understand why you feel like you need to send U.S. troops here unless it was never really about that in the first place.